Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Ultraman Arc DX Arc Cube and Arc Cube Holder. So this is an interesting piece within the toy line because as of this date, November 1st, we have no idea what this thing's context is within the show. All we really know about it is that the only reason why this is a thing is because the month of November is going to be what they are calling Blazar's finale. So, because of that, we do have the Blazar Arc Cube, our first non-Arc Arc Cube in retail in DX form. So, again, I really do like the box imagery that this has. I think it's in Blazar's colors because it's blue and then purple, but we have the holder right there and tells us that we can hold up to 6 arc cubes, to which obviously the first 5 are right here, and then we have an unreleased and unannounced Shining Ultraman Zero Cube, which is kind of random, but again, we have Arc and Blazar, the Blazar cube right there. I really do like the sides of this box, though. The right side we have Blazar, the left side we have Arc. I'm going to show the bottom. Obviously the bottom just says it requires 2 LR44s because of the Arc Cube. The top just tells you that you can use the Blazar Arc Cube with these 3 items because this is after the Arc Galaxier. And then tells us, again, the same stuff of just like, hey, this is how it works, the QR code for the PDF file, and tells you to get 2 of these for some reason. And I just find that funny that it's Luna that gets highlighted here. But, yeah. Please scoot back. Alright, so here we have the content out of the box as we start losing color because of the panel. It's not a panel, but it's just easier to call it that. So again, here's the Arc Cube holder, to which it's definitely an interesting piece of plastic. It's not the first time they've done a piece of plastic, but it's the first time they've done it like this, because basically it just reminds me a lot of the Paw Monster sprues and such. However, it's in an interesting shade of like teal, blue, green, you know, very reminiscent of the Land of Light green and such. And while you might think that there's not really much detail to it, I realize this on the right here, or on the left here, is actually the Arcorizer molded in. And then on the left is Arc. I do not get how I did not see that on the boxes, because when I saw it on here, and then on here, it's like, wow, it's so blatantly obvious. How did I miss that? Like, that is, I feel like, I mean, it doesn't need to be more apparent. It's just, I guess I'm blind. I've never seen anyone point these 2 out and such. But anyways, the rest of this, we just have slots for the 6 cubes. Again, it's basically you slide it in and it clips in through, like this slot empty. This is probably not a good cube to show off. It slots in that empty slot. And then the back is kind of not really anything. It has the trans stamps and such engraved into here. If you can actually see that. But, that looked weird. Like, yeah, we do have a handle, so then you can hold it like this and such. Or just hold it around. You know, it's smooth. You're not gonna, like, end up scratching yourself. Like, you know, it's pretty simple. But ow. But yeah, so what I realized, we're gonna jump to this right away, is that obviously the back of the box advertises to you that you can put two of these together. But the way they advertise it is by literally like slamming it on like one on top of another, like a claw monster. But the thing is that there's no holes apparent on the top here. So what I realized is that if you turn around, obviously you have holes right here and such. But you can, if you notice, they're actually flipped from another, or they're like mirrored from another basically. So as you can see, these two are the exact same pegs crossing from here, and then these two are the exact same from here. Because the way they want you to put these together is by sandwiching them together back to back. Which is interesting. I don't get why they didn't show that, because literally the box is not helpful in this aspect. They literally... Oh, I mean, I guess they are. Again, it's like, I guess it's us being blind, but it's like, you would assume this is just front to front. Like, you know, you just put the back to the front and such, but like, I mean, the thing too is that it's not that, it's just not that distinguishable. Maybe it's just me being blind as a whole. Because, again, I think if without actually seeing these things, it probably makes a lot of this like, oh no, duh, you do that and such. Though, we never seen in any official capacity two of these together. We never seen Bandai Mania do it. I never seen any Japanese reviewer do it. In no way that any English speaking or other like speaking language reviewers going to buy two of these, because no one wants to be stuck with two Blazar stones or Blazar cubes. So obviously, speaking of the cubes, you just simply again slide them down like so, and then until they click in, knowing that it's secured. So obviously we'll do it in numerical order. So here we have Arc, then we have Arc Solus armor, then we follow that up with Arc Luna armor, then we take Arc Galaxy armor, and obviously you're gonna have to kind of play with this a bit. So, but then this actually creates an interesting silhouette, and then we take our Blazar cube because he is numerically next. So technically, we don't have 6 yet. So then technically, as of now, we can take... I mean, this one's 0, 0. So, there's our first 6 Arc cubes. Sadly, your bottom ones are going to get bent up if you do decide to display it like this. But, I really do like how they are positioned differently, like how these ones are a bit more back than the front ones and such, instead of just being all a consistent level, just so then I guess the way that just so then it can actually stand, because I feel like if it was just the same level, this will probably topple more, but obviously this doesn't mean, this can still topple and such, because obviously this is not the most secure, this is obviously not the most secure way of inserting your cubes, but it's at least secured enough. But obviously I have to do it with this for now, because it definitely needs cubes at the bottom at least, just to at least stand. But obviously the more cubes you add, the more strength there is for it not to topple. But obviously, when you do have 12 cubes together, I'm pretty sure it will be like pristine, not pristine, but like it won't have that issue of like, oh no, my entire collection fell, kind of thing. So, but other than that, it's simple. It's simple and really effective with how it's displayed. Just the, you know, the color is definitely interesting and such. So let's take a look at the Blazar cube. So here we have the Blazar Art Cube, to which obviously at this point is just kind of familiar with the majority of our other previous art cubes. It's just that this one's DX and such. So obviously the front here we have Blazar's portrait, to which Blazar does actually, one of my biggest worries was that Blazar was going to carry over the same aspects that Galaxy had, because technically it does. But however, as you can see here, he still has that stencil outline as an exhaust. Because if we were, actually, we can compare it to this, I think. Because as you can tell here, the sheen, that metallic sheen, isn't as reflective on the like older releases. Again, I feel like this one's not really as a good, this one's not really a good example. Like if you look at Zero Beyond, for example, you kind of really have to like get the light right to see that stencil outline. But for here, the positive thing is that this metallic sheen does make this a lot more easier to like outline, but at the same time, it is kind of a weird choice they made within the second quarter and such. Because again, it still carries the same qualities that Galaxy had. It's just that Galaxy, for some reason, kind of excluded that stencil design. This release, at least. And then obviously he is 05 in the numbering, to which, to my surprise, I thought it was going to be the case where, oh, I didn't even notice that. Because I thought it was going to be the case where, as you can tell, every other Ultra has this design because it's carried over from the Art Cube and such. But then the Blazar Cube has like basically that blue flame design. But I realize that's just because it's carried over from the new generation cube, to which I think from what I'm getting from here, because these two align, I think they actually split Ginga and Blazar's. So yeah, this is Ginga's, which I can't really make out what that's supposed to be. I think that is supposed to be his crest. But yeah, that's actually interesting. Huh. I did not realize this was different. But as I said before, again, that metallic sheen still carries over, but we still have the gems. The X obviously is still the same as the others. This is pink. And then again, because it still carries over the same qualities as the Galaxy Cube, this is still clicky as ever, which again is kind of weird. The battery cover obviously takes 2 RR44s and then B005. So sound structure is the exact same as any other normal Art Cube, but now just with Blazar sounds. So sound mode, we got that from Gento and the Blazar brace. So this is technically the third toy to have this iteration of the Blazar Rise transformation. The first being the Hyper Key, second being the Memorial Edition of the Blazar Brace, and this being the third one. However, this one's the most high quality sound quality version of it. Obviously, we got Blazar's grunt from the Blazar Brace. And the Spiral Parade. Obviously, we have the color timer to conclude it all. Oops. Let's use this in our arc stuff. Arcerizer, just like any other Ultraman cube. To the point, it doesn't even do any Blazar specific sounds. It's really nice to hear the Blazar transformation in a toy that doesn't have crummy speakers. Also, I appreciate that the grunt follows after, just again to kind of follow the original toy, even though that's obviously not intentional. But I guess we'll move on to the thing that actually happened in the show. Okay, well that didn't happen, but so we just get a pink LED. So this is the only other finisher I know the name of, because it's pretty simple. This is the Arc Spiral Parade. And something got caught in my mouth. But as you can tell, sadly, just like the Solus armor, Blazar's grunt kind of goes over what was originally intended to be programmed. It's kind of upsetting. I kind of wish these were specifically timed, because I'm pretty sure a certain Blazar cube is actually programmed correctly. And obviously, our new addition, because of it being a DX cube, this thing is just going to make sounds. So, I think, I don't know, we're going to mix around. But we're only going to do one attack in particular for these. So, again, we have these out. So, new generation cube. And Zero Beyond. I forgot the name of this one. Because it was Arc Spiral something. And this will just be a thing I'll just do for the reviews, but I will just show the sounds of here without this. So there's the Spiral Parade sound. But yeah, I don't need to cover that for now again, but okay. So yeah, overall my thoughts on, technically the full set is called the DX Art Cube, Blazar Cube, and Art Cube holder. But I'll do it in the description. Obviously, you guys know that I shortened the descriptions. I shortened the names for the titles, but I think this is a fine set. I think it was cool that we did get a holder set, because I was kind of like I was kind of like, are you serious? You're not gonna give us anything like to store these cubes? So when we did finally hear about this, I was like, cool. That's I'm like, cool. Like, I can actually have something to put my other art cubes on. Especially because, again, we kind of knew that there wasn't going to be a lot of DX releases and such. And again, I think the color of it is really interesting overall. It's pretty simple of what you can do with it, but it's like, I think it does its job. Again, I find it weird that it wants you to get 2 of them. That's the reset sound. It wants you to get 2 of them, so then you could put 12 together. But again, because I assume that's how the show is going to have it, again, the Blazar arc is just finished for someone that hasn't watched the show. So, like, this might show up in the last few episodes or so. It has to show up at some point. If the Rube collection, the Rube Crystal collection case can show up, this thing can show up. But it's harmless and such. So it's just like, it does what it needs to do. The Blazar Cube, on the other hand, it's pretty consistent with all the other art cubes. It is finally nice to have an ultra outside of cube, or an ultra outside of arc, get a cube in the retail line that is DX. I guess they didn't want to do what they did with Trigger, where like Zet, for example, Zet original was all like DXified, but then that meant he became inconsistent with your other 4 Zet keys from the premium sets. And it is kind of interesting that they did decide to at least put out Blazar in retail. Like, it makes sense why he was the previous airing series. But at the same time, don't be surprised when they put out the premium version of the Blazar Cube. Just because they did it with Zet original. So I just thought they would have held back to have just done the premium version, but I guess here it just shows they're going to double dip on Blazar. So, again, I think Blazar is a nice entry in this series, especially if you haven't been buying into the Gashbon and Candy toy lines or just anything outside of the retail line. Blazar definitely is a fresh breath of air and such. And yeah, he's required because he's number 5 and such. So you don't really have a choice. Of because, I mean, if you are going like full on with the cubes, but if you're only going after Arc's cubes, it technically isn't necessary, but like, again, we don't know the full extent of how Arc will utilize previous like Ultraman cubes that aren't in the Arc-Eye sword, because most likely it's not going to do anything in the Arc-Arizer and such. The fact that we even got to see it in the show, I guess, is kind of a miracle in itself. But for how much this goes for, I don't remember how much HLJ sells it for, but I'm pretty sure it's not for a price that's actually worthwhile, because again, you're paying about like $14 for the cube, and you're paying another $14 for a piece of plastic that you can put your cubes, that you can slide your cubes in, and they want you to spend another $28 to just put them together. and then you're stuck with two Blazar cubes, I guess you can find someone that doesn't want. Like, I mean, I guess it's probably easy to find someone that wants the cube, but like, what? I was almost done. But basically, if you manage to find someone that actually just only wants the Blazar cube, and you can form the full Arc Cube holder, good on you. That definitely does seem pretty neat and such. And I definitely do want to see someone. I definitely do at least want to see someone do it on video, because I'm kind of intrigued to see what it is, even though it's just literally back to back, the holder back to back. But I'm curious with like the handle, for example. I'm curious how that would work and such. But yeah, I think that'll have to do with this review. Is this really the last? Is this really one of the last retail releases for this toy line? I just realized that. My gosh. Wow. That's like if the Blazar toy line ended with the binder.